Okay, I think, yesterday we talked about, the first and the second and the third paragraphs. Also, we discussed, the vocabulary together. We ask you questions about, the paragraphs. We match, the headings which are found on page 3 with the paragraphs. Now, what is the first heading which comes with the first paragraph? Who can, remember? Hmm.
The autonomous car.
Good, the autonomous car. So the first paragraph comes, with the heading or the autonomous car. The titles are found on page 3. Look at your box on page 3. We have, the titles which we match them with the paragraphs. So the first paragraph takes what? The autonomous car. Write the autonomous cars here. Is it clear, Ubada?
Yes, miss.
Yes, the students who do not have books.
Yes. لا مس أخذته اليوم بس.
Okay, now put the first title here. The autonomous car. Now, what about the second? Which title comes with the second paragraph?
The answer.
The whistling rain frog. You remember when we talk about, about the desert and you hear something, strange, and, at the end, you discover that it was what? A kind of what? Frogs. The whistling rain frog. The second heading is, the whistling rain frog. Write it here. Whistling rain frog. The third paragraph, I think it talks about, the places which looks like, the real things, and you can practice, let us say training before you participate in a real missions.
Simulators.
Okay. Here, simulators, yes. I think we put, the title here, simulators. Simulators are places which look like the real things. Is it clear? So the first heading in the which we have to put in the first paragraph is what? Autonomous car. The second paragraph takes what? The whistling rain frog heading. And the third is simulators. Let's listen again, then we will continue with the rest of the paragraphs. Listen. Listen.
As you drive along a busy road, you notice a car without a driver. You blink to clear your eyes and wonder whether you're losing your mind. It's the driverless car, a robotic vehicle that can travel to a predetermined destination without human intervention. All you would need to do is sit in the car and enjoy the ride. Would you do it? Would you travel in a driverless car? Is it science fiction or reality? You are spending the night in the desert. Everyone else is sound asleep, but you are still awake, enjoying the starlit sky. It's a cold but peaceful night. None of the usual city sounds echo in the background, so you snuggle in your sleeping bag and close your eyes. All of a sudden, you are startled by a high-pitched sound. Someone or something is whistling. You sit up, look around, but don't see anyone. Then you hear the sound again, along with a soft patter of something landing in the sand. What do you think it is? Is it a dream or reality?
The third paragraph now.
They are very real and highly popular in entertainment, but they are also used in education. They are used by many colleges and institutions for educational purposes. Many businesses and industries use them to train their employees and executives. They are used for military strategy and flight training. Astronauts train on them for a long time before they participate in real missions. Can you guess what they are? What is your opinion about them?
So here, the paragraph is talking about simulators. And as we said before, simulators, the places which look like, the real things. They can what? These places are used for, let us say, training for military strategies, for fight training, for astronauts, etc. Before they what? Participate in real missions. So here the title will be what? Simulators. Now let us move to the fourth paragraph. Listen, then we will ask you questions.
You walk into a food store to buy some yogurt and cheese. You notice that the packaging is different from what you are used to. It's very attractive with bright wrapping. A customer has just bought some frozen yogurt in a biodegradable bag. He takes out one of the round, pearl-like shapes and bites into it as you are about to warn him not to eat the wrapping. He seems to be enjoying it. He then uses a small spoon to dip into the shell, eat the rest of the contents as well as the wrapper. Is the wrapper edible, or does the customer suffer from a condition that urges him to eat things that would normally be considered inedible? What do you think? Is it science fiction or reality?
Okay, you realize that here, the place is a supermarket, talking about something, which is strange for us, talking about, packaging or wrapping. But, the wrapping here is what? Strange. Maybe, can be what? Eaten. Let us say edible. The wrapping is edible. Now, what do you mean by wrapping? What do you mean by wrapping?
The
Like the
plastic
cover,
that
mister,
covers
the
something.
cover of the.
Yes, the cover or
Alright.
the packaging. Yes, the packaging. Some of these packages are, let us say manufactured by, chocolate, food, etc. They look what? Like, packaging or, wrapping, but in fact, they are, let us say, edible. Edible here means what? Can be eaten.
Eaten.
Yes, edible, good for eating. You realize that maybe they are useful if wrappers were be able to eaten, there would be less waste or litter, etc. Okay, this who can read? Let us read, the paragraph
Can I
number
read?
4. Adnan,
Okay. You walk
you're
into a
welcome
food
to.
store to buy some yogurt and cheese. You notice that the packaging is different.
Yes,
Continue. Okay. You notice that the packaging is different from what you are used to. It's very attractive with bright wrapping. A customer has just bought some frozen yogurt in a biodegradable bag. He takes out one of the round pearl-like shapes and bites into it as you're about to warn him not to eat the wrapping. He seems to be enjoying it. He then uses a small spoon to dip into the shell, eat the rest of the contents as well as the wrapper. Is the wrapping edible, or does the customer suffer from a condition that urges him to eat things that would normally be considered inedible? What do you think? Is it science fiction or reality?
good, thank you. Who wants to read again? Dia?
Okay. You walk into a food store to buy some yogurt and cheese. You notice that the packaging is different from what you are used to. It's very attractive with bright wrapping. A customer has just bought some frozen yogurt in a biodegradable bag. He takes out one of the round pear-like shapes and bites into it as you're about to warn him not to eat the wrapping. He seems to be enjoying it. He then uses a small spoon to dip into the shell, eat the rest of the contents as well as the wrapper. Is the wrapping edible, or does the customer suffer from a condition that urges him to eat things that would normally be considered inedible? What do you think? Is it
Good.
science fiction or reality?
Thank you very much. Now, what do you think? Is it, science fiction or reality?
No, saying
Science
it's
fiction.
It's real
reality.
مثلا.
Sometimes, yes, it is, they manufactured, let us say, wrappers like this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know how they make them. They make them from like algae.
Yes, yes. Now here, what do you mean by, let us say, urges? Urges to ask someone for doing something.
Like
Yes. Edible. What do you mean by edible?
can be eaten.
Yes, can be eaten. Biodegradable.
Can be recycled.
Yes.
Alright.
Can be what analyzed or melted. Okay. Now move to the which title is suitable for the paragraph. Look at the titles, or let us say the headings.
Tasty wrappers.
Yeah, tasty.
Tasty wrappers. Write it in your book. Write it as a heading. Tasty wrappers. Tasty wrappers. Anwar, please read it again, please.
Okay. You walk into a food store to buy some yogurt and cheese. You notice that the packaging is different from what you are used to. It's very attractive with bright wrapping. A customer has just bought the same frozen yogurt in a biodegradable bag. He takes out one of the round pear-like shapes and bites into it as you are about to warn him not to eat the wrapping. He seems to be enjoying it. He seems to be enjoying it. He then uses a small spoon to dip into the shell, eat the rest of the contents as well as the wrapper. In the wrapping, is the wrapping edible, or does the customer suffer from a condition that urges him to eat things that would normally be considered inedible? What do you think? Is it science fiction or reality?
Good. Okay, now let us move to the last paragraph. Here we have a design for, motorbike.
Yes, can I read?
Just we want to listen, then you will read, okay?
Okay.
Listen, then we will ask you questions.
Before the days of computer-aided design, CAD, and lasers, models and prototypes required days or even weeks of hard work to make and were very costly. Improvements and modifications could not be incorporated easily, often resulting in the loss of business. An 80s idea called rapid prototyping led to the development of a type of machine, similar to an inkjet printer, that made it possible for designers to make their own rapid prototypes. The machine uses plastic instead of ink or powder and builds up a model one layer at a time from the bottom upward. Do you know what this type of machine is called? Is it science fiction or reality?
Okay. Now, what do you think the passage is talking about?
Can I answer?
Yes, Noor?
3D printing.